Among the most iconic shooters of the PC Engine era, Lords of Thunder stands tall with its unique fusion of heroic fantasy and heavy metal attitude. Initially conceived as a direct sequel to Gate of Thunder, the project eventually shifted direction, evolving into a standalone title with a bold identity of its own. Developed by Red Raymond, a division of Red Company that included ex-Technosoft staff who had worked on Thunder Force 2 and 3, the team later welcomed contributors from Hudson Soft, known for games like Sapphire and Aldines. With such a pedigree, expectations were high, and the game delivered. The game drops players into a medieval fantasy world, an unusual setting for a horizontal shooter, more reminiscent of RPGs than anything in the genre. Visually, it's a refreshing change of pace. Rich, organic backdrops, sprite-heavy enemies, and vibrant colors combine to create a unique atmosphere. The design leans heavily into the metal fantasy aesthetic. Dragons, volcanoes, arcane armor. It all feels like it could have been lifted straight from a heavy metal album cover. What stands out immediately is how densely detailed each stage is, yet how remarkably readable the screen remains. Amid all the chaos, your character is always easy to spot. Enemy bullets, terrain hazards, power-ups, everything is visually distinct, with strong contrasts and bold use of color. Bosses in particular pop with vivid palettes and imposing designs. There's a clear Technosoft influence in the backgrounds and layering. Each level is also structured with care. Typically, you'll start in one environment, transition through a midsection, and end in a dramatically different setting. From desert temples to underwater ruins, the variety is constant, with fluid scrolling that gives each stage its own rhythm and flair. Enemy sizes vary wildly. Some mid-bosses are as big as final bosses in other games, and the game handles it all with impressive technical stability. Even on hard mode, with the screen packed with enemies and projectiles, slowdowns are rare and flickering minimal. Complementing the visual spectacle is one of the most legendary soundtracks in the history of shoot-'em-ups. Powered by screaming electric guitars, thunderous bass lines, and shredding solos, the music is pure metal energy. Influences from Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and Manowar are clear, but it never feels like pastiche. It's a cohesive sonic identity that fits the game perfectly. Every stage theme hits hard and drives the action forward. It's one of those rare cases where you might find yourself delaying your play session just to let the track kick in. Sound design follows suit. Crunchy explosions, distinct projectile sounds, and satisfying enemy death effects reinforce the power fantasy. Admittedly, a few sound effects are less inspired. The wind armor's high-pitched buzz stands out, and the sword attacks could have used more impact in the audio mix, but overall, the game sounds as good as it looks. Gameplay-wise, Lords of Thunder builds depth through its armor system. Before each stage, players select from 4 elemental armors: earth, wind, fire, and water, each offering a unique primary shot and special ability. Every armor has 3 power levels, which degrade when the player takes damage. This introduces a light strategic layer. The better you play, the stronger your firepower becomes. Collecting magic gems replenishes power, rewarding clean play while still allowing room for recovery after mistakes. Interestingly, these power levels don't always follow a linear stronger is better logic. Each stage of an armor's attack often behaves differently, offering tactical options rather than a straight progression. Some players may find that a level 1 fire shot is more useful in certain situations than level 3, depending on spread, coverage, or rate of fire. That said, not all armors feel perfectly balanced. Earth and fire tend to be the most versatile, while water and wind are situational at best. The game allows you to stick with your favorite without major penalty, but it's a slight missed opportunity for deeper stage-to-armor synergy. One standout mechanic is the automatic melee attack. Get close enough to an enemy and your character switches from range shots to a powerful sword strike. While risky, invincibility frames are short and health can disappear fast, it's deeply satisfying and visually impressive. Special attacks tied to each armor add another layer, although they're most effective in boss battles rather than as screen-clearing panic buttons. Between stages, the in-game shop lets players spend crystals, earned by defeating enemies, on upgrades, more health, armor power, shields, extra continues, and resurrection elixirs. It's a surprisingly well-integrated system for a shooter, adding a sense of preparation and customization between missions. The pricing could be slightly more balanced. Some items feel underpriced relative to their value, but overall it enhances the pacing without slowing it down. The game also borrows a smart structure from titles like Elemental Master. The 6 main stages can be played in any order, each representing an elemental domain. The 7th and final stage, the Dark Tower, is unlocked after completing the rest. The non-linear progression adds a light strategic element. Some stages are clearly tougher than others, and choosing the easier ones first helps build up your gear before tackling the harder fights. Controls are sharp and responsive. There's no speed adjustment, but none is needed. The default movement strikes a great balance between agility and control. The hitbox may seem large at first, but it's actually fair and predictable, allowing for precise dodging even in dense patterns. Level design is where Lords of Thunder truly shines. Most stages are split into 2 halves, with the first focused on traditional shooting and the second incorporating more environmental hazards and terrain-based challenges, whether it's navigating lava bursts, avoiding swinging traps, or descending through tight corridors. The game constantly shifts its demands, keeping things fresh and engaging throughout. Boss fights are perhaps the one slightly uneven element. While the designs are spectacular and many encounters are satisfying, some bosses go down too quickly or rely on unclear mechanics. A few fights lack polish in terms of feedback and structure, but they're rarely boring, and most introduce at least one interesting gimmick. Despite minor flaws, Lords of Thunder is a blast to play from start to finish. It's approachable for newcomers but offers plenty of depth for veterans. It avoids the extremes of either brain-dead simplicity or unfair bullet hell nonsense. It's fast, stylish, responsive, and most importantly, fun. The replay value is high, whether it's experimenting with different armors, revisiting favorite stages, or tackling higher difficulty modes, including the brutal super mode. There's always a reason to come back. The difficulty curve is smartly tuned. Normal is a bit easy for experienced players, but hard offers real challenge with tighter patterns and new enemy behaviors. Super mode cranks everything up to the max, pushing even seasoned players to their limits. In short, Lords of Thunder is not just a cult classic, it's a masterclass in how to blend style, substance, and accessibility in a shoot-'em-up. Its only real barrier might be its fantasy metal aesthetic, which won't appeal to everyone. But for those who connect with its world, its music, and its flow, it's an unforgettable ride. Highly recommended.